I have a video of Michael Irvin that we're. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Damn. Ow. That hurt. Damn. Fucking wind. Ow. Well, good morning, good people and Eagle fans. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, holding down things at Joe Boo's Man Cave, but we got good old Bucky the Beaver here. Yeah, Bucky the Beaver. Bucky. Okay, Bucky, we got it. You can't wait to get on the road again. Okay, Bucky, shut up. That's enough. Okay. As always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. It is finally Friday, and we are knee-deep in week number 3 of the NFL season. We have the Bears at 4 o'clock on Sunday. I hope you guys tune in for our live stream. We'll be live streaming all day. We've been live streaming literally from the beginning to the end. Well, we didn't quite make it all the way through the Minnesota game. It's hard watching J.J. McCarthy. I guess we don't have to watch him for a while because he's injured for a bit. But as we get ready, we got great news yesterday that Kayvon Turpin, who had a neck brace on after the game, was without the neck brace and a full go at practice yesterday getting ready for the Bears. So that is actually some great news. And the Cowboys offense seems to be clicking on all cylinders. And it seems like all of a sudden everybody's talking about how great Dak Prescott is. Now, I'm going to do a comparison that is going to probably piss people off because when I say this, like, oh, here you go, comparing that garbage-ass quarterback to one of the best that's ever played. Okay, I tell you what, here's the thing. I saw the craziest headline yesterday that was Pat Mahomes is washed. Pat Mahomes is not washed. The thing is, he's lost his 2 best receiver, Rashid Rice, of course, serving a 6-game suspension. Kelsey is dropping balls left and right, and he's got nobody to throw to. These things matter. I'm not going to go out here and say that Dak Prescott is markedly better than he's ever been in his career. I'm going to say, that's fine. I'm going to say the people around him are better too, which ends up making him more successful. The great Roger Staubach. I have been blessed in my life. I remember having a conversation with Roger Staubach. I know you're going to say, oh, you're full of crap. No, actually, at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I got to drive Roger Staubach back to his hotel. He's sitting right next to me wearing his first Super Bowl ring. And this is, I could just die right now and be a happy man. But I remember Roger Staubach saying, it didn't matter how good a pass I threw if Drew didn't catch it. Doesn't matter. I can throw the perfect ball, but if the guy on the other end doesn't catch it, it doesn't matter. And that is a fact. And now that the Cowboys, that surprisingly, where people said we had the worst running attack preseason in the NFL, Javonte Williams and the Dallas Cowboys are 11th in running the football. That is incredible. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. In comparison to where people thought we were going to be. And having a running attack makes all the difference in the world. Having receivers that can get separation, and why Kayvon Turpin, who is now being inserted into the offense, where you're kind of wondering, why didn't we use this guy in the offense more with Mike McCarthy? This guy gets separation, but part of the reason he does is because you got George Pickens. Because George Pickens, there's too many people to cover. What happens when you've got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb out there, and then you get Kayvon Turpin? You know what Kayvon Turpin is like? He is like trying to catch a chicken running in the yard. Y'all remember Rocky. Rocky's training for fights because he's trying to chase the chicken. I got to say that's Kayvon Turpin. He is the chicken running in the yard. You can't catch him. That's Kayvon. I don't know how Kayvon will feel about that. But he is the Cowboys' chicken. He's running in there, and they just can't cover him. And when you have people that are getting separation and you got a running game, you're spreading out the field. And the problem that happened to us last year was you couldn't run the football. And because they didn't put 8 men in the box. Because they didn't put 8 men in the box and you only had one receiver, they could double cover CD, and the other guys, you could single cover. It shrank the field. Right now, the Cowboys have made the field completely wide open. That defensive coordinators have to look and say, Javonte Williams is getting 6.7 yards a carry. If we don't stop that, they'll just run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. So we got to stop that. And then you say we can't let CD and George Pickens get loose down the field. So we got to cover to the deep. And then you get the chicken. You get the chicken going, the chicken going across there that you can't cover. There's too many things for teams to be able to stop, and that's what you want. And the problem for Dak Prescott has been is he ain't always had that. He ain't had the chicken. He had more of the turtles. So this is where you look at it and say, these are all great things that will help to make Dak Prescott successful. And I'd say that the offensive line is actually playing better than what people thought. Guard, Tyler Booker, the rookie, okay? And this is where you look at this and say, for the most part, when the Cowboys draft offensive linemen in the first round, they do real good. The jury's still out on Tyler Guyton, but he's definitely got more confidence this year and doesn't panic. The thing I saw about Tyler Guyton last year was when guys would do, and I think part of this was because he had to switch sides. And what people don't seem to understand is they think, oh, well, you're just a lineman. Okay, so it's no big deal. You're just a big fat guy, just hitting big fat guys, so it doesn't matter where you are. And that's bullshit because he was on the right side. So your stance is for everything to come from this side. Your eyes are used to looking in this side. Your first contact is with your right hand. Now you switch it up to the left side. Your stance is reversed. Now you're looking out of this eye all the time. Now you're using your left arm. And what seemed to always happen with Tyler Booker was when people would crash across his face, that his footwork wasn't there to be able to wheel in front of them to stop their momentum, and he'd end up holding them, or they'd end up getting away. I'm not seeing that happen thus far, and that's development. But here's what Tyler Booker, one of the Tyler, and Tylers, said about playing with Dak Prescott. It's a lot of fun. Dak is a true competitor. I've been very blessed to play with a lot of great quarterbacks. My last few quarterbacks from junior high school were J.J. McCarthy, Bryce Young, Jalen Milrose, and now Dak Prescott. I'm very blessed to have a lot of great quarterbacks. Dak, he's different. All those guys have the ultimate confidence to them that make you feel a lot more comfortable when you're in the huddle with them. Wow. One other one that's a nice one too is George Pickens. We keep hearing the national media all saying that, other teams wouldn't put up with George Pickens and things. Well, here's the thing. San Francisco decided they weren't going to put up with Charles Haley. And the Cowboys found a way to put up with him and used him to help win 3 Super Bowls. See, it's not a matter of, yes, there are people that have problems and issues. The question is, can you figure out how to work with them and maximize the potential out of them? CeeDee Lamb said about his teammate, George Pickens, on how he's been fitting in. That man ain't got to fit in. He stands out. George Pickens is a hell of a player, man, and there's plenty of excitement where that came from. That's great words from your teammate. That's incredible. And as we continue to go here, let's go through with the praise and things that we're having. We have Troy Aikman, who has been very, very critical of the Cowboys since he's left because he wants to see them get back to their glory. In fact, in past years, he said some things that were kind of inflammatory about Dak Prescott, like basically saying that either you got it or you don't, and I'm not sure that Dak does. He's kind of got some a different perspective now that Dak Prescott is beginning to cross off the list some of the Cowboys' all-time records. I want to read this article from the Dallas Morning News by Josh Hoyt. It's a great article. Troy Aikman, admiration for Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott might only be matched by his high hopes for him. I've said before, I love Dak. There's nothing I'd rather see than him go to the Super Bowl and win multiple Super Bowls, and win more than me and Roger, all of us combined, if possible. Well, he's 31 years old, so that would be a tall task. But I'd be okay with the dynasty. Would you? Would you be okay? I would, because then it would shut them Eagles up. Said Aikman, who has 3 Super Bowl wins to his name, because he's that type of guy, and he represents himself in the organization and really our city so well. Prescott was asked about his praise and hoped that he could win more than 5 Super Bowls, as Aikman has thought back in mind, total for the Cowboys. I got to get going then, Prescott said, who has won 2 playoff games in his career. I don't know if I have that many years left. I've got to win now. 5 Super Bowls may seem a little lofty for Prescott, who's turned 31 this season. He is etching his name in the franchise record books, however. Prescott became the all-time completion leader at 2,838 on Sunday in the 40-37 overtime victory over the Giants. With the victory against the Bears on Sunday, he'll tie Tony Romo for 3rd most wins by a Cowboys quarterback in team's history. He's also just 2,197 yards away from tying Romo for most passing yards in the franchise, and I believe only 33 touchdown passes away from all-time touchdown passes. I think for the main reason I'm not anywhere close in my mind to being done, Prescott said. If that was the forefront of my mind, I may look up and say, dang, what else I need to do or what else I need to get to. But that's not on my mind by any means. Never really has been. I don't know if it ever will, to be honest with you. I just stay present, stay where I am. Records and all those type of things, those are meant to be broken. I'm just a man up, and as I said, I'm just trying to be the best I can be and know if I do that, we got a good chance at it all. Yeah. Means the world, honestly. Super grateful to the quarterback of this organization, understanding that those who've come before me, and then obviously getting to meet them, and then doing galas with them, getting to hang out with those men. I'm able to call them friends, and knowing they've supported me and have let me know from the beginning what the world means. Prescott said, super thanks for them, and I want to be exactly what he said, but I got to get started now. And that's the truth, because when you look at it, in the end, Dak Prescott's going to have all the Cowboys records, but in the end, it won't mean anything if he doesn't get that ring. Danny White was an incredible quarterback for the Cowboys, but he's not anywhere close to the level of Roger and Troy Aikman. It's about those rings, and Dak Prescott recognizes, hey, those are great things to say I got, but did you see Romo mentioned with those guys? It's not. And so every week for Dak Prescott, you got to have a sense of urgency. Every opportunity that you have, you got to get a win. Every pass needs to be made, because this is about your legacy now. So as we get ready to get going here, I've got a lot of stuff I want to do here before I'll be back home tomorrow, so that way we'll be in the man cave for the game on Sunday. I've got a lot of stuff I need to do while I'm here. I got to go see my friend Shenanigans with our cupola for our building and stuff, see if we can drop that off so they can make the roof for it and stuff out of metal. And got to go to the historic hotel, and I've got stuff to deal with the red brick house and things. So I'm going to get going here. But I love how the narrative is changing when it comes to Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. It was not long ago that every category they had of the Dallas Cowboys, we were one of the worst in the NFL in their eyes. Coaching staff, 5th worst or 4th worst. Running game, they had us ranked dead last. Quarterback, 15th. And now all of a sudden, we're hearing different things from them. Let's go to the tape.
Certainly with the play of Dak Prescott, able to continue their momentum from last week's thrilling win against the Giants. as they get set to take on the Bears in Chicago in an interesting game Sunday. Troy Aikman's been watching Dak play. Here's what he thinks.
I have been impressed with Dak, certainly week one and what he was able to do. And then this last game, he just, he's always had good energy. He's always had good, body language and all that on the field. But in addition to just how well he's played, I just sense that there's a confidence about him in the way in which he's playing that I don't want to say I haven't seen it before, but I just feel like he's really dialed in.
It's an interesting. Dak Prescott's an interesting player. When you're the quarterback of the Cowboys, everything you do is so micro-scrutinized that I think sometimes we overlook the obvious. Like when he's healthy, he plays great and they win. When last seen healthy for an entire season, he was the runner-up for MVP. He's playing great again.
And arguably, this is the best weapons he's ever had. And I think the difference is he has an established running back that when he first got in this league, we had a lot of respect for in Denver that kind of fell out of favor. But,
Javonte Williams.
But also now he has, an answer when you can't, when you double CeeDee Lamb and take him away. Pickens showed up a little bit. He still has to mature. And but Ferguson, he's able to really move the ball. And this isn't a typical brand new head coach, right? Remember, Shotty was the coordinator, so he doesn't have to learn a new offense. So
right.
It's more nuanced than that. He can get into the minutia and the minute details of growing the package because he was in the same system last year.
So the biggest thing for me when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys is their run game. If you go back to 2024, 5 of the 7 teams that made the playoffs in the NFC, they were top 6 in rushing. You can't be one-dimensional in this league. You have to be balanced. The Dallas Cowboys right now currently, they're 11th in rushing. Javonte Williams has really altered things, but also the mindset coming into the season. Hey, we're not just going to throw the football around. We're going to establish the run. We want to push people around, investing into that offensive line. That was their first-round draft pick this year in the 2025 NFL Draft. The run game is making things drastically different, in my opinion, for the Dallas Cowboys. Because Dak Prescott, from my eyes, he's going to play lights-out football. But now you add another dimension to that offense, and the offense of the Dallas Cowboys are scarier.
Yeah, I think it's George Pickens because when you're trying to build a team, it's hard to get 2 corners that are physical enough to match up with CeeDee Lamb. And now on the other side, George Pickens, who has 13 career touchdowns. Look at that catching radius. Well, that was CeeDee Lamb. Yeah. But in the red zone, again, he's already scored a touchdown, but he's created a lot of good matchups for Jake Ferguson as well. So when we talk about Dak playing well, like this play right here, they couldn't do that a year ago. That's why I think Pickens, more than Williams, has been so impactful. Fascinating game. We've seen the stat all week long that the 2 players who've been the NFC Offensive Player of the Week have both played against the Bears. So does that mean that Dak Prescott's going to do that as well? There's another interesting storyline in this game. We've had a lot of revenge games, and here comes another
last week it was all about Ben Johnson going back in Detroit. How about Matt Eberflus going into Chicago? Eberflus so unceremoniously fired, and really a punchline in Chicago this whole offseason and how much better Caleb's going to be now that he's finally got a real coaching staff. Eberflus has been the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys in 2 weeks, and they've been lit up in 2 games. I could see Matt Eberflus having a different kind of approach to this game, going up against his former team, and the owners in the front office that blamed him for last year's ineptitude and firing him. I will note this. In his presser, Brian Schottenheimer said there's nothing he would love more than to win that game and to give the game ball to Flus after the game. Not Dak, let's give it to the defensive coordinator who's going to have something ready for Caleb Williams.
That's motivation. We
won for the Flus.
Yeah, we always have that type of protection. Like when you go there, whether it be the Harry Bowl or the TB Bowl or the Rex Bowl, we always had that. That's just the extra juice. That's the mind tricks that head coaches do. Don't fall for that.
But they want to look. You're going to make a little bold prediction later this morning about this game. And we're going to get a prediction on the total in a minute here. Without giving away the whole thing, are you expecting fireworks? Historic fireworks. And neither side, are the old Rick Rhineline, Greeny, are the punters even going to be active? Like, this is just 4-down football up and down the field. The big X factor to me is Caleb Williams and what he does. And, we have a tape to show here. What are you seeing? What have you seen in Caleb when he holds the ball, Greeny, he really struggles. This is an unbelievable statistic. Since he's been in the NFL, this is from Hembo. They are 1-7 when he holds the ball for 3 seconds or longer. Now look, here's a play against Detroit. Not there, throw it away, run. He's holding the ball, and he makes really bad decisions later in the down. This ball should have been picked off. You can't hold the ball against NFL defenders for 8 seconds. Here's another play. Again,
1 in 7 when he averages 3 seconds or longer. Plays not there, Greedy. His fundamentals break down, and he makes terrible decisions. This is an interception. If you want to be a great quarterback in the NFL, you cannot do that.
This is a work in progress, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's 2 weeks in, Caleb Williams in this offense with Ben Johnson. Are you encouraged by what you've seen from it so far?
So far, yes. Like, he's going to have bumps in the road, and for everyone who's saying
that's a boulder.
But here's the thing,
That's
Mike.
a boulder.
You're talking about a guy who's had
pothole.
3 play callers in 2 years, 2 head coaches. Strip everything that you've learned about the game of football from the quarterback position before getting with Ben Johnson. So you're going to have those moments. When you try to get an alcoholic to stop drinking, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're looking for a little more motivation for the Bears right now, we're just putting it up on the screen. We all like the Cowboys in this game. We'll see what winds up happening. Meanwhile, we'll do an entire more or less based on this game as well.
Okay, all right. So they're all picking the Cowboys, which always scares me. Yeah. Wow. So, boy, this is something I didn't see right here. Interesting to see Tyler Booker taking some practice snaps at center with Brock Hoffman starting and T.J. Bass as the backup. Booker would be the emergency option. Interesting. All right, so hopefully Matt Everfuss ends up getting some revenge on the Bears. As always, I appreciate you guys, and we will see you soon. Peace out.
Touched it! I dropped it! I dropped another one! Good passes!
The Redskins.
This is crap!
Oh, so they get a break?
3rd and 14, you put him on losing his stinking golf. Unacceptable crap!
Cleveland got a break.
God, I want to fire him.
I'm going to say money.
Thank you, Dante.
He said, dude, this changed. This did the voice change.
Yeah. You like the
Wherever
voiceover
the effects are. The effects.
Here's the kick.
Maybe the most important one of the year.
He made it.
He made it. Oh, wait. He made it.
To play.
Look. Philly, he's crying. There's no crying in football, Philly.